Hey everyone, I'm Matt.
I'm Desiree.
And we're bringing you this week's Rising Tide West Coast Swing Guide.
It's a new guide here on the Rising Tide West Coast Swing Guide. It's Anchoring August 2024, where we're going to walk you through some anchor variations that you can have fun trying.
Yep. So, anchor variations are a really fun way to add variety to your dancing. There's essentially two elements of my anchor, or the final triple step of the pattern that I can vary. I can vary the timing, or I can vary the placement of my feet. I can also combine those two to vary both the timing and the placement of my feet. However, that is a little more complicated. So for tonight, we're going to be talking about anchor variations where we vary the placement of our feet only. As we progress through the series, we will also add in variations where we vary timing and the placement of the feet and then combine it all together.
So variety is the spice of life, and it's also something we will look for at the higher West Coast Swing competitive levels, which is one reason you might want to, if you're dipping a toe into competing, think about adding variety to your West Coast Swing to showcase that. It's also a pragmatic thing. So when we look at where we're positioned in West Coast Swing, sometimes we get a little too close, a little too far, or we're positioned in such a way where we, practically speaking, need to change our foot placement and the positioning. So those are some of the reasons why we would do an anchor variation, and now we're going to break down two for you: the hook in front and the hook behind, or the cross in front and the cross behind.
Yep, so the first one we're going to talk about is our hook behind anchor variation. So I'm dancing this as a leader right now. Desiree's dancing this on the follower side. You can do this on both feet. It does work both ways. So I'm going to hook my right foot behind my left foot for 5 and 6, or 7 and 8, 9 and 10, whatever you want to call it. If we try that one more time, 5 and 6. Now, one thing to make this variation have a little bit more dynamic or shape to it, I guess we would say, is instead of keeping my shoulders and my frame square as I take the foot back, or instead of hinging open, I can rotate my right shoulder forward as my right foot goes back into what we call like a contra body position. That adds a little more dimension to this anchor variation. It helps my own frame to look a little bit more fun and interesting.
Something else we can do to support the mechanics so that we don't get too far away is as we hook behind and we set our back foot, we're actually setting it to the side as opposed to continuing it backward, which eats up too much space.
Yep. Our next variation Desiree alluded to is our cross in front. So I'm crossing my right foot, Desiree's crossing her left foot, but we're going to go 5 and 6 back again. Now, tips for success here on this is as we cross in front, I want to make sure that this foot is still turned out nicely. So you can almost think about crossing the heel through, as opposed to what can sometimes happen is we cross the foot and the foot itself that we're crossing winds up being almost sickled. So we pull the heel through and then back.
It's also very common as we take ourselves forward to kind of allow the body to draw downward into slumps. So instead of that, think about keeping the hips low and then raising the chest up, creating a lot of length in that torso, particularly as we come forward, as well as keeping that as we stay back.
Yeah. We're going to show you these in a couple of basic patterns. You can do these in pretty much any basic pattern, but these ones happen to feel particularly comfortable. So we're going to do a left side pass, 3 and 4 with that hook behind, and then a right side pass, 3 and 4 with the cross in front. That was your guide. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and check out our website and online store. Link in the description.
See you next week.